Yeah. What's up, family? Well, who didn't see this happening? According to reports, Houston police has captured one man who they say was involved in the murder of rapper BTB Savage, who was savagely murdered last week in the River Oaks area of Houston. Let me explain something to you about that area, fam. That's where the money resides. It is Houston's most prestigious neighborhood. Very wealthy people live in that neighborhood. And they have created a somewhat safe enclave for themselves, where people kind of live in a bubble out there. People feel relatively safe in that area. And the people that live in the area and who are tasked with at least giving people the illusion of feeling safe want to keep it that way. So when BTB Savage was killed in River Oaks in the 4600 block of San Felipe, which is a main artery that runs through River Oaks, the authorities felt some kind of way about it. And before I even heard what they had to say, I knew that they was going to find somebody. Somebody was going to pay for it. Somebody was going to be arrested. And here we are. An arrest has been made. According to reports, Montrell Leonard Burley, who's 40 years old, has been charged with murder regarding the death of BTB Savage, who is 26 years old, who was 26 years old. Now, again, this drive-by shooting occurred near the 4600 block of San Felipe Street in Mid Lane, and this happened around 6:10 p.m. It allegedly involved at least one other suspect who has yet to be captured or identified publicly. Some people say, well, he has been identified because there's been a lot of talking online, whole lot of talking. Man, this case is all over the place. There was talk about the guys he was hanging out with, setting them up, like he was sitting there dining with. They texting back and forth, texting the killers. There was talk about him not actually telling the truth in the interview that he did on with Vlad TV. In that interview, BTB Savage said that it was a studio session gone bad, not a drug deal gone bad, a studio session gone bad. He told the tale of a guy wanting a feature from him, and the guy coming to his house with the equipment, walking in his house with a guy he identified as his uncle, and at some point, realizing he forgot some of the equipment in the car, he goes back to the car to get the equipment. BTB Savage says he felt a little funny about the situation, so he locked the door when the guy left. Next thing you know, the uncle, or so-called uncle, pulls a gun on him. They struggle for the gun. He instructs his girlfriend to shoot the guy as they're struggling for the gun. Girlfriend pops him twice in the back. They continue to fight. Eventually, the attacker, in the words of BTB Savage, succumbed to his injuries. Now, most people, if you listen to the story exactly the way BTB Savage tells it, it sounds like, he did a heroic thing. The girl did an heroic thing. In fact, in the interview, I remember Vlad saying that, hell, she's the real gangster because, she's the one who eliminated the threat. In any event, I think that most people with common sense looked at that as a justified homicide. But where BTB Savage went off the rail with a lot of people is when he started bragging about the murder. He started bragging about it. And that's even the part where I was like, it's kind of like, seemed like you're bringing some heat on yourself when he started calling the dudes broke. And I remember Vlad asked him, are you concerned about these guys retaliating? He said, nah, they ain't something to the effect of, they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't that, they broke, one of me is like 20 of them, that type of thing. But that wasn't the end. BTB Savage, on the day that he got killed, posted a photograph, 2 photographs of him standing in the dry blood of the guy he murdered, or the guy that his girlfriend murdered. And he's flexing, showing off his jewelry, flexing. He's kicking it. He's like really enjoying it. Next thing you know, according to police, within an hour, guys pull up on him and they gun him down. It wasn't a complete drive-by. They got out of the car, according to police, and started shooting him. Now, I mean, they did him bad too, fam. They put a bunch of holes in that Mercedes-Benz he was driving. So the police identified at least one of the shooters as 40-year-old Montreal Burley. 40-year-old Montreal Burley. I would have thought that the shooter was younger, because usually when a guy's 40 years old, usually that kind of life, if he ever led that type of life, he would put it behind him. But let me just say that, this is all alleged. This is not necessarily means that he did the shooting. This is just the person that they've identified. But I can tell you, whether it's him or not, whoever it is, they gonna get caught, because they got to make sure that they set an example. And from my source at HPD, they have vowed to catch every single person involved. So that means not just the shooter, but if anybody was involved in texting, calling, the setup, like this is where he is, he's wearing this, I'm gonna pull up, all that there, all that. Hey man, they coming. They plan to make an example out of whoever killed him. Got to restore the trust in the people that live in that community. And it's a trip, because had this happened in the hood, all suspects would probably still be at large. But because it happened in the money, it's a different set of rules. And that's just how it is. And it's like that in every city, not just in Houston. It's like that in every city. Yeah, this guy, Montreal Leonard, Leonard, that's it. Leonard Leonard. It's Leonard. Leonard Burley, Montreal Leonard Burley is the guy that they're saying was one of the killers. And HPD has vowed to bring in anybody else that was involved in that killing. When this first went down, fam, you hear how it went down, where it went down, somebody going down. That's just the way it is. Somebody is going to go down for this. They're not going to let that slide. They got to set an example and restore public confidence, at least public confidence in the people who live in that immediate area. Going into the comments. Let's see who we got here. Camus. What's up, Willie Ferguson? Yes, condolences to the family. LaShawn Thomas in the building. Yep. And I'm going to say this, fam. I know this is going to be very unpopular to say because, you know, people are mad. Anytime somebody die, you know, you got to, you know, people are upset and, you know, anybody that they think could have remotely had something to do with that murder, people going to lose it and they're going to be mad at them. They're going to be mad at anybody who say anything otherwise. But I got to call a strike and a ball a ball. When I see people trying to point the finger at Vlad, I can't rock with that because these guys who go on these platforms, not just Vlad, but all platforms, it's guys that all day, every day, you know, these podcasts, people are telling all of their business on all of these podcasts. Anything they think, they just go out and say it. And a lot of times these guys are doing it for clout. They're going on these podcasts and they're trying to tell these stories for clout, which is what I understood happened in this case. I heard dude went on the podcast to speak on that situation because he knew it was going to get him a lot of hits. It was going to get him a lot of followers. It was going to get him a lot of subscribers, a lot of likes. It was going to up his profile, which it did because before he got murdered or before he went on Vlad TV, I had no idea who he was. So it brought a lot of attention to him. But I think he overplayed his hand. I think if he had just told the story, this is what happened, and took the bragging out of it. Just say, this is what happened. A guy tried to kill me, rob me, whatever. And I ended up having my girl downed him. You know, we was fighting, blah, blah, blah. Fought for my life, man. Dude was trying to kill me, and I just protected myself. You know, RIP to the brother. You know, my condolences to his family. I wouldn't want to take another human being's life, but if it's got to be that way. You know, if somebody's trying to take my life, I ain't got no choice. Something along those lines, man, I think he all right. You know, but that bragging, fam, I'm telling you, it's that bragging. It's that, you know, it's that smoking on the dead. You know, it's that desecration thing, man. It's that disrespect. It's the ultimate disrespect. And you got to know, for some people, when you disrespect their dead, you got to understand sometimes the living feels numb when they lose a loved one. Maybe he wasn't a loved one to anybody else but the people who loved, just the people that he was messing with, the family, the friends, the close friends. Maybe nobody else even cared. The world didn't care, but they care. So somebody It could be a situation where the family, there's a member of family, a friend that numb, and that's all they know. And here you are, like talking about this person and dragging them through the mud like they mean nothing. And you laughing and you standing in their blood and you dancing on their grave, you peeing on their grave. You know, you're being disrespectful. Keep in mind, this person who lost their life is everything to somebody. You might trigger a response that you don't want. I'm not in the game of creating additional enemies. I know it's people out there that hate me for no reason. I don't even know who they are. I know they're out there though, because haters are everywhere. They got to be out there. They're fueled by hate. You know, it's people that hate people that they never met. They don't really even know. They just look at them and they hate them. So I know that I got enemies already, and I got enemies that I'll probably create at some point. But I don't want to go around purposely creating enemies. I already got enough with just looking over my shoulders and peeping around corners with the unknown threats. Just, just as a way of habit, you kind of paranoid with all of the violence and the crime that's out there. So you can be a target at any time. So you just kind of like, there's a level of paranoia there already for the unknown. I'm not trying to just go around and create an enemy. So I feel like, I think that dude did himself a disservice when he bragged about it, because he had already won. He won the fight. And then he bragged about winning the fight. See, I've seen people get killed in the hood like that. I've seen people win the dice game, win the basketball game, and then rub it in after they win. And then next thing you know, they're dead. Now, I know that ain't right. That's a sore loser, right? Bad sportsmanship. But I'm saying when people are already angry, they're already hurt, and then you stick it to them, you rub it in, you stick the knife in them and twist it. That could cause a very bad response. And that could put some unnecessary heat on you. This is why anytime I compete, I play a gentleman's game. I compete like a gentleman. When I win, I never gloat. When I say never, I never gloat. The only time that I will do any type of bragging when I win is if the person I'm competing against brags. If the person that I'm competing against start talking noise, start talking crazy, then I'm gonna have to, I'll speak on it. But they can talk crazy before, they can talk noise before I beat them, and I won't talk noise after I beat them. I'm pretty good on the pool table. I won a lot of money playing pool. I done got in a lot of dudes' pockets playing pool. But when I win, no matter how big the win is, I've even won tournaments. No matter how big the win is, I win and I go ahead about my business, because everybody already know I won, so I don't have to brag. I won. You know I beat you. Everybody else know I beat you. What is there to brag about? I already stuck it to you. But if I brag and all that, next thing you know, a fight might come after that. And then what's the worst thing could happen is murder could come after that. So I learned a long time ago, and I'm talking about I was a teenager. You win with grace. Don't brag. Don't brag about it. You win with grace and you keep it moving. Vlad didn't get dude killed. He would have went on anybody with a platform, whoever had the platform, where he could have went on there and talked and said what he said, Like nobody made him say those words that he said. Nobody made him say that. He said that on his own. He a grown man, 26 years old. Just like as a grown person, you can do whatever you want to do and nobody controls you and you get all the credit. You got to take all the credit or you take all the blame when something adverse happens to you. You need to take the blame for that too, all on your own. When you do well, you don't credit the platforms for looking out for you and making everything good for you. You know, all of the people, when you look at these artists that go out and do well, they don't go out and thank all the radio stations and show love and all that. They say, hey, they take the credit themselves. And if they give anybody credit, they're going to give it to God and the team, their mom and daddy and the team, their clique. That's it. Ain't nobody else getting no praise and all of that. They don't care about these radio stations like that. They don't care about these video channels like that. They don't care about these podcasters like that. They're using the podcast platform to get their message out, whatever that message is, whether it's their music, whether it's what they got going on in their personal life or whatever. Let me explain something to you, fam. As someone who's been in the game for a few decades, whenever you're interviewed, you reserve the right to answer the question or not. You reserve the right to talk about things that other people don't know. You reserve that right. I've never seen an interviewer pull out a gun and put it to somebody's head and say, now tell the damn truth. Tell me what happened. You better tell me everything what happened. I'm going to blow your damn brains out. I never heard anybody do. I never seen that before ever. Never seen an interviewer pull out a knife on somebody and say, or have a team of buddies, henchmen, goons standing around and blocking the door saying, no, you ain't leaving here till you tell us everything that happened and you better brag about it. I've never seen that happen. Just like we're responsible for obeying the law, for taking care of our children, for being responsible, holding ourselves accountable, we are responsible for the words that come out of our mouths. Nobody else is ever responsible for the words that come out of your mouth unless you are a kidnap victim and they're holding you hostage for a ransom and they're telling you what to say. They're dictating what you have to say. Other than that, you are responsible. You and only you are responsible for the words that come out of your mouth. And the words that come out of your mouth have power. And you, like I know, if you have any type of spirituality about yourself, you know that you can speak things into existence. You know that the mouth can speak things into existence. Shay K, I see you. Bin Laden Chopper. TLB says, honestly, I don't think anyone cares about this situation. Never heard of him till now. No, well, somebody obviously care about the situation because we got somebody now we got a person that's dead. We got two people that's dead now. And we got a person that's being held who has been arrested for murder. And you got other people that are involved in this situation, and They have family, they have friends. Somebody care. So I think that's totally inaccurate. Yeah, somebody cares about this situation. And this is a trending story. Somebody cares. That's the thing we have to get used to about when we see stories about people that we don't know. We got to stop this, fam, like who cares and never heard of them and all that. That don't mean nothing. I find out about new people almost daily who are famous. It trips me out. But the internet has opened up a whole new lane for people to become famous. Almost every day I find out about a new person who is well known that I knew nothing about. Sometimes they have millions of followers on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and I knew nothing about them. So just because you don't know them doesn't mean that they're irrelevant. Just because you're unfamiliar with a case doesn't mean that nobody's interested in the case. It just means that you don't know. You can't speak for everybody. Candace Jackson, Stacey R., Eric Jurin, Glennis Pinson G. Absolutely. We're all important to somebody. You know, we're all somebody's baby. You ever seen a person be accused of a crime and they interview that person's mama or their father, and the mother or father said, "That's my baby. That's my baby." We all somebody's baby. Even the monsters have babies. Think about what I'm saying, fam. I mean, even the monster is somebody's baby. Put it like that. Even the monster is somebody's baby. Sandra White, Shirley Gonzalez, DJ in Motion. What up? Shay K, I see you. Jamel Blood Bugs. Brian McDowell. Yo, Kev, what up? All right, fam, that's my time. I appreciate y'all joining the live. Just wanted to drop that in real quick, fam. And just word to the wise, fam, and even words to the unwise. Find you something constructive to do and do that. And when you do it and you become successful at doing it, like BTB Savage had, make sure you don't mess it up. Make sure you don't mess it up, fam. Because, you know, fame, money, and power, it's intoxicating. And if you're not careful, if you don't purposely humble yourself, just being a humble person ain't even enough to deal with fame and fortune. If you're not purposely, you have to be intent. You have to be intentional about protecting your fame, your name, your reputation, your money. You have to be intentional, because once you make it, you got a big target on your head and people are coming from you from all angles. So you have to understand that even though you can't see them, they can see you. They see you. You have to be intentional about protecting what's yours. You have to be intentional about not having a reckless mouth. You have to be intentional about not blowing the bag for your family. If you're in a position where perhaps you came from humble means, you didn't have much, the whole family didn't have much, and now you are in a position where you can actually create generational wealth, you're probably in a situation where you're a once in a lifetime catalyst for breaking that generational wealth gap, for bridging that generational wealth gap. You're probably in a once in a lifetime position. If you don't do it, it may not happen for another 100 years. That's a lot of responsibility. And you have to take it seriously. If you blow the bag, if you mess around and get yourself tricked out of your position, who gonna do it? No more talk.